Firstly, it's very important to understand that each individual client, even similar clients in the same sectors, have a very unique risk landscape, a unique combination of circumstance. So the first thing I'd say is that it's very important to make sure that it's an individual tailored approach with everyone. There's no cookie cutter approach, no one size fits all.
We have to understand the threat. And in order to understand the threat, there are two key points that we need to do before, and that is understand who we are facing, who the enemy is, who the potential attacker is. That's one. And second, we need to understand our assets, what our assets are, what our processes, what we are trying to defend. Those two things seem quite basic, but we've seen in many security plans that people tend not to relate to them and tie themselves to standards, to security trends, rather than the actual thing they're trying to protect.
Other key considerations are the built environment. There's also the look and feel for the client. A lot of clients don't like their facilities looking like military bases. So there are also factors that come into the consideration of design, what solutions implemented.
Coming from an airport perspective, I would say ideally you would want to start with your identification process and understanding that the identification of the person, whoever it is, whether it's a customer or it's especially in a check-in or facilitation process and an access control process as well, is about understanding who exactly you're dealing with, what rights they have. So I think those two things are really the first and foremost. So your identification, your authentication process. And then from there is once you know who you're dealing with and you know that you can trust them, then you would say, well, what do they have access to? So just because I know who you are doesn't mean you have carte blanche to go everywhere you want to go.
Security needs to be reevaluated constantly. It's not a set and forget concept. There needs to be a holistic approach towards security to enable the right environment to be designed, built and operated, and that is extremely so in the data center environment. It's not a technological problem, nor a physical barrier problem. It's a business problem, and it needs to be addressed from a business perspective.
Again, it will come down to going back to your key business plans. You know, the risk assessment management plan, your business continuity plan, your crisis management plan. So those documents, if an organisation is doing their job correctly, will actually put the risks into a matrix and it'll look at the impact and the consequence of any breach of security, whether it be hardware or actual management measures. And that will flesh out, you know, an optimum design solution in accordance to what is actually achievable, both in terms of implementation, cost and effect.